Welcome to the Soul Directed Life for 2015, the third year of this radio show. If you've been listening, you've probably noticed that this radio show is structured a little differently than other radio shows. Right from the get-go, I had a very clear purpose, a very clear intention. I didn't want the Soul Directed Life to be, and here's my guest today, and here's my guest today. No matter how wonderful those guests are, I had the concept from the beginning, which you can hear in the title, The Soul Directed Life. Well, how can you have a soul-directed life if you're not listening to the calls bubbling up from your soul? So right from the beginning, on January of 2013, the first year, I had each month have a theme. And all the guests are people who had explored that particular theme. It might have been the call to pray, one of my favorites, the call to pierce the veil of death, the call to create, whatever those themes were. All the guests were people who had explored that theme. And then my hope was that as you were listening, you would begin to notice, pay attention. Oh, I'm feeling that, I'm noticing that, I'm being called to that. And that's how I was hoping that my radio show wouldn't just entertain you or give you an hour of delight, but would actually give you some useful tools to go inside and find your own soul-directed life. So, as I'm stepping into 2015, I decided not only do I want each month to have a theme, but I want all 12 months to flow naturally, theme after theme after theme, creating a year. And what's the perfect symbol for that? The medicine wheel. The medicine wheel. And this is my medicine wheel for 2015. Now, I did learn a wee little bit about the medicine wheel from my first teacher, Charlotte Starfire, who studied with Sun Bear. But in order to really create this, I unfortunately could not contact Sun Bear because he is on another plane. But I spent an afternoon with Robin Wind, the woman who wrote his books on the medicine wheel, a great, great student and author of the medicine wheel. And she walked me through the themes that flow from the four directions, north, winter, gently moving into the east, spring, the new day, the new dawn, and into the south, the fullness of summer, the west, going into the cave, returning to the internal wisdom, and returning again to repeat this cycle. And so together, she and I came up with the themes in honor of winter in the north. I hope my Australian and New Zealand and Pacific Rim listeners enjoy these Northern Hemisphere themes. Maybe next year we'll do a medicine wheel for the Southern Hemisphere. So in Canada, the United States, Europe, the north is the time of the white, of the silence, and the soul answers the call to be still. And all my guests are people who have explored this in depth, culminating with Anne LeClaire, the author of The Silence Below the Noise. And then we move from that stillness. In the stillness, you can feel the presence of the divine. And so the perfect theme for February is the call to practice the presence. And my guests include Richard Rohr, Cynthia Bourgeau, Matthew Fox. Oh, are we going to be practicing the presence? And then with this awareness of the presence, what do you feel bubbling up inside? That willingness to step out into the world. And what does that take? It takes courage, but what does it produce? Joy. And so the theme for March, and my exquisite guest, Mark Nepo, is the call to courage and joy. And so on, the call to awaken, the call to live from the heart, the call to the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, the call to trust your guides and your guidance in October, returning to the north next December for the call to enter the dream time. This is my gift to you and my great joy. Join me all year long as we move gently, rhythmically, following the medicine wheel. Thank you, Sun Bear, and thank you, Marlise Wabin Wind, who's going to open the year on January 15th and introduce us to the medicine wheel. I love you, and I'm so grateful that you are a part of the Soul Directed Life.